Hey everybody, Jinza here, and welcome to another episode of Small Bytes Plus. So this week we are looking at another game by Hyper Hippo Games, the guys that brought you Adventure Capitalist and Adventure Communist, which is the game we looked at last week. And they have teamed up with Jagex this time to make a game called Runescape Idle Adventures. So I was quite pleasantly surprised when I first loaded this game up. I was expecting another click-intensive, heavy click game that, there wasn't an awful lot to be doing on it. It was a game that you go crazy with the first time you play it, and then it's sort of just something maybe you pop on 10 minutes every day and just assign all your cash that you've built up while you have not been on there and then leave it, which them sort of games, they're okay. Some of them can be a bit more entertaining than others, but generally they get quite boring quite fast. This game is on a completely different level. So before I start, I do want to say this game's currently in beta, so stuff that you see in this game at the moment is subject to change, and obviously new things might get added. Stuff that we talk about might vastly and drastically change, or even end up going out of the game completely. So it's definitely not a reflection on how the end product's going to look, so just bear that in mind. So first off, I guess we start with the character. So when you first start this game and load it up, it actually requires you to choose your own name, which is quite nice, and basically you can choose whether you're male or female. I would like to see maybe a bit more character customization be added into this game, because currently you're basically a blue elf with a white quiff, and it's definitely not a character I would have chose to play as, and it's probably one of the biggest letdowns of this little sort of adventure game. It's maybe something that might put me off, because I'm a bit OCD about stuff like this, and I like to you create a character and you feel a bond to that character, where as you're given this weird looking character, it's like, I don't really care. But with that being said, the actual game mechanics are pretty cool. So it is very, I guess, a AFK game or semi-AFK. So you can definitely be doing something else while you're doing this. And how it works, it kind of works similar to them click-intensive games, but at the same time, kind of not. And we get into why. So when you start, you end up in your bog standard Draenor village, which is a town you might remember from the RuneScape games. Yes, there's a lot of RuneScape references, and even the music in the background has a very familiar feel to it. So basically, blue anima is your bog standard cash, and with that you can assign workers or villagers to gather resources from various skills. The only purpose of this is to gain more. So as you see, they gradually gain more over time. And you're probably saying, but Jinza, there's skills and all different RuneScape skills that you might recognize, and they even go to level 99 just like in RuneScape. How do you train those? Well, you actually have to click on one, and as the villagers gain their resources, you also basically chipping in and helping out. And if you see, actually, depending on your level, your skill level, you actually basically gain more anima per time, but you also gain XP at the same time. The point of skills is obviously something to progress for, and you also unlock abilities. So the more total levels you have, the more abilities you unlock. I currently don't know how many are in this game, because obviously I've only played like an hour and a half of this, just to sort of get a gist of what's going on in it, to give you a sort of good foundation to know what the game's about. But yeah, you basically unlock skills. You start off with this one, it's Hasten. It, as you can see, basically makes your whatever skill you're training go turbo mode. Skills themselves, you can't just click on one, leave it for the whole day and come back and be like, I have a 99 skill. As you see, it actually stopped gaining XP, because it actually requires you to click on the skill to level it up, which is kind of a thing to make you be playing the game and not just leaving it and hoping to get everything to 99 like the little cheat you are. I'm joking, but it does give you a bit more interaction with the game. And this game does have a lot of interaction with it, so it is a game that you can actually play rather than the game playing itself for the most part anyway. So the game has quests in it, and when you come to the towns, over the top of these there'll be like a little exclamation mark, and you can click on that and an NPC will pop up. You'll get a pretty cool little dialogue and chat between them, and there's also, you can actually choose different chat options. I don't actually think it actually affects the outcome of the quest. It's kind of more just a bit, I want my character to be angry and say angry stuff to these stupid Runescape guys that I dislike, or, if you like some of them, you could be like, have a little silly chat with them. And the quests serve as ways to get loot and also unlock new areas. So as you see, this quest I need to complete smithing 10 times in Lumbridge Castle. So the complete ones are basically, it wants you to go to Lumbridge Castle and actually train it yourself. So you see I have a little number over there, and once that goes through, the number will gradually go down and I will gradually work my way towards the quest. So the citizens one is, as you might imagine, you add more citizens to there. So as you see, complete. And for that one, I will actually get some form of armor. The armor's quite nice. I do give thumbs up to these guys. You can actually equip different armor, and it actually changes the appearance of your character. That's what I was saying. I was like, actually make a character that I would like the look of, because this is pretty cool. And the armor actually has inherent effects. It can increase your overall produce. It can increase the town's produce. And it can also give you HP, because your characters do have persistent levels. And they gain extra combat levels, as you might imagine, in everything that's combat based. So with combat based skills, they're all in red, and you gain red anima from them. And you will actually gain levels for them. And leveling these up is definitely recommended. It's definitely recommended to make your character stronger, because they actually serve more of a purpose than the other skills, where the other skills you're just gaining your just basic bog standard resource to upgrade more and make everything gain more. So it's sort of a catch-22. You spend more to gain more, and it's just an endless cycle. I don't think there's any other real use for this at the moment. There might be stuff to buy later in the game, or they might have plans to add stuff later to give you something else to spend your money on. But as for now, I would definitely recommend training up all your skills. Obviously, with the ones that do attacks, training these up will actually cause your character to do more damage. And you're probably asking, why is that relevant? Well, as you see on the world map, there are certain places with skulls, and you can actually travel to these, and it's a dungeon, and you get waves of creatures that you have to kill. And you can add your skills on here. So we're going to add melee. So once that gets to full, it will actually do an attack and hit the creature for 17 melee damage. There's also, creatures have certain weaknesses and resistances, so certain things will actually do more damage. And so Slayer removes the buffs. Dungeoneering puts the remaining enemies level +1, so that actually gives you more enemies to kill. And HP adds max HP. Though for this, I don't really see it helping out too much until you get a combat level of 50. Is it 50? Yeah. Actually, I don't know. Because it does. I currently don't have any way to heal myself. I'm sure there will be later. Maybe with the Herblore skill you might be able to make potions, which would be quite nice. But it currently puts your max, it just keeps bolstering your max HP, but you never actually get any HP back. So that's, at the moment, not very handy. So we will start the dungeon, and it's basically auto. The monsters do eventually hit you, so you want to try and kill them beforehand. As you see, we're not taking damage because we've currently got 3 combat skills going, so they usually manage just to kill them before they hit me. It reminds me of a lot of the old PC dungeon crawler games where you'd walk through a dungeon and the creature would pop up on the screen, and you never see your characters. It was all sort of first person, and then you sort of just clicked attack or do magic and stuff like that. It reminds me a lot of that, and it's I don't know, it's quite relaxing to just go ahead and play. And you can progress further and further into the dungeon and get new waves, and as you see, new creatures pop up. And later on, quests will actually require you to kill so many of these sort of creatures, so you do have to pop in here and do stuff. But this is a nice way to sort of break up how similar and simple the skilling aspect of it is in the towns. And it just helps break that up, and actually gives you something to do and something to aim for, so, make your character stronger. I don't know if you actually get loot in these dungeons. It would be maybe a nice thing to see, but I've never actually got to wave 6 at the moment because my character's not strong enough. So you may get a prize at the end of that, and it'd be quite. I'm pretty sure there would be. You get more anima, red anima per wave, but I don't know. It's something I'll have to check out and see if you do. I would imagine you get something for completing all the waves in the dungeon. So we'll actually finish off this one, and then we'll talk about the world map and a bit what I like about it. So there we go. We got an attack level and go back to town. So the world map, I would say it's fairly vast for the game. I don't know if you unlock more areas once you've completed all this, but as you see, the map's quite big. So, well, I think RS3 maps is huge anyway, so there's quite a few areas, and I'm sure they're going to add more later if you can't actually get to these areas. So there's going to be a lot to explore and a lot to do. There doesn't really seem to be any sort of multiplayer element to it. It's definitely, I would say, a single-player game. But for the most part, it works quite well. And I would say just the fact that, there's so much going on, and the fact that you can actually make your character vastly better. It actually adds a bit more of an element of, you're actually achieving something rather than just a total number of money and, yay, I got millions and trillions of money, what now? You actually have something to work towards. So it is kind of like RuneScape, it's very simplistic, gaining XP to level up skills and eventually get that skill to maximum. I wonder if your character actually gets like a skill cape if they get a stat to maximum. It'd be quite interesting to see. There are also, I would say they're kind of benefits, but I would say they're more achievements. So, well, they're achievements with benefits. So, as you can see, unlock citizen cost minus 15%, and you get that for leveling up your skills. So that's nothing to do with your citizens. It's leveling up your XP, and they're sort of your benefits for getting your certain levels up, so town speed and citizen cost. So I guess that kind of is a skill cape, it's just probably not visual. Oh yeah, you can actually level up your skills with the red anima. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, you level. Yes, you do use the blue to level up your skills. I thought it was all red anima, but that's because I was just leveling up the combat skills because I was messing with the combat. Yeah, so you can use your blue anima to level up your skills manually. So I don't know, you might be able to get to 99 quite fast if you get your villagers working overtime. So yeah, I guess that's really all I can talk about. We'll have a quick look at the cash shot, which I guess these I would say they're a lot better than other games, but I would say they're definitely not necessary. But if you're trying to sort of get quick boosts and stuff to level up really fast, then they're there, they're handy, and you probably can go ahead and use them. But there's definitely no need. But I guess it's kind of nice to support the game if you can. If I do have spare monies and a game that I'm playing a lot and it is free to play, I do like to put some money in. Stuff like Dungeon Defenders 2 and that, which I actually might go and have a look at again because I haven't played that for a while. I've put quite a bit of money into it because, well, it's always nice to support games, guys, and I would definitely recommend it if you're playing a game solidly. So yeah, this was RuneScape Idle Adventures. I don't really think there's anything else I can talk about. I think we've covered most stuff that's currently in the game. Obviously there might be stuff later on that I haven't got to yet that will become available later, obviously. And yeah, so I definitely recommend checking it out. It's free, it's on Steam. The link will be in the description as per usual, so feel free to go try it out for yourselves and see what you think. And it's definitely a sort of game you can sort of play while you're doing other stuff. Maybe even if you play RuneScape, you might want to play another RuneScape game. Who knows? But I will catch you next week for another small Bytes plus of some other game that I've come across and be like, hey, let's do a video on it. So you know what to do. Hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And we will see you next time.